Recording in progress.
Good morning. Thanks for those with us this morning in the audience and those online. I'm Commissioner Gage Froer. Today is Tuesday, February 7th, 2023. This will be the Board of Commissioners meeting for that date. I'm joined this morning by Commissioner Harvey to my right and Commissioner Bolos to my left. We're going to start this meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Ms. Christy Bingham, invocation by Duncan Olson, thought of the day by Commissioner Bolos, and then we'll go to public comments. Christy?
Our dear, kind, and gracious Heavenly Father, we're so grateful for this day. We're grateful for the many blessings that we all receive in our lives. We're grateful for the moisture and the snow that we have received. Please continue to bless this land with more, that we might be able to sustain our lawns, our gardens, our fields, and pastures. Heavenly Father, please be with the commissioners as they handle county business, that they might be guided in the right manner of which to do so and lead with integrity. Please bless these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thought of the day, Commissioner Bolos.
This is my thought. You both know that I have enjoyed getting to know everyone in the county thoroughly, and it's been a great month, and I'm learning people, and I'm learning departments, and I'm learning partners in the county. And I knew this before, but I've just come to, it's been reaffirmed to me how important our communities are to us. And it doesn't matter if it's an individual, or an organization, or a group, or a family, or who it is, everyone contributes something, and we all intertwine with each other's lives, and we have an opportunity to be a force for positive or for negative. And the choice that we make is very significant and impacts a lot of people. So I just think it's important to step back and remember that. Sometimes we get siloed in the things that are important to us, and we don't realize how much that impacts those around us. But we all need to impact each other for good.
Great. Thank you for that thought. And it's been such a pleasure having you on this team. And I've said it before, and I really mean it. Commissioner Bolos hit the ground running, and she's really just taken off from that point. Weber County been a benefit from your participation in this commission.
Thank you.
For a long period of time.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to public comments. It's now the opportunity for any ones in the public. Please come forward. Just tell us your name. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Thank you. I'm Julie Smith,
Jackie Hogan.
and we wanted to come and thank you for your generosity and kindness. We were the chair and co-chair of the Northern Utah Human Trafficking Prevention Coalition. We put on a symposium at Weber State University. Weber State was amazing to work with us, and you folks stepped up. We were hoping for 200 students, and it helps. Students somehow get hungry, and so we wanted to be able, we were clear through the day, we wanted to give them lunch, and you folks stepped up and helped us do that. And I really feel a big part of that attendance, because we were hoping for 200, we had 350.
Wow.
Yes. Wow. It was, in fact, the Attorney General's office was there, and they said, this is the best first time symposium we have ever seen attended. And like we said, we owe it to you folks for being so generous. And we want to thank you so much, because human trafficking, as you know, is a major problem. And we want Weber County to be safe, to be educated. In fact, we were able to get the Hope Squads in the schools they're adopting a manual that will talk about human trafficking, so that they can help the students in the 700 schools they're in to know about human trafficking and to educate and prevent. And so that's what this is all about. We're going to do it again this year. We hope you'll join us once again, but we want to thank you for the amazing job that you do and for keeping Weber County safe and a great place to live. We Okay, Jackie. We really
ditto.
appreciate it. So thank you for being so amazing.
Well, it's our pleasure to thank you. Without community advocates like you and what you do, and this human trafficking obviously is a huge thing for our state and our county, and you help us, you help the community, making sure that it's a safer community to live in. And Julie and I go a long way back. She used to visit me at the legislature on occasion, and one thing about Julie, she always gets what she asks for, so.
Well, except with my husband.
Yeah.
It is good, and like I said, this commission is, you guys are awesome. You are amazing, and I feel like alone we do good things, but together miracles happen.
Yeah.
And thank you for being such a huge part of that.
Thank you for what you do. Comments, Commissioner Harvey?
Just thanks for allowing us to be a part, but just understanding, we get all this fun accolade and everything, but it's our team. Those represented everybody here in the room and behind the scenes that help contribute to that. We wouldn't be able to do that without them. So thank you, Julie. And thank you, Katie? Jackie.
Jackie. Commissioner Bolus, anything?
I just want to say that support is one thing, but action is another. And so you can support all you want, but it takes the action of people who are passionate about what they believe in. So thank you.
Absolutely right. Thank you very much, Julie. Good to see you, Jackie. Thanks for being with us this morning. Anyone else from the audience? Now's your time to come up. Anyone online, Shelley, that would like to make a comment? Okay, going once, twice. Thank you for those comments. Again, appreciate you being here with us. All right, let's move now to the consent items, Commissioners. That would be consent items F, 1 through 9. To begin with, we'll request for approval of warrants 7228 through 7259, a number 474-251 through 474-366, and 240 through 241 in the amount of $2,303,106.99. 2, request for approval of purchase orders in the amount of $1,787,536.68. And 3, summary of warrants and purchase orders. I'm going to go to Mr. Ricky for our summary. Ricky Hatch.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Appreciate that. We issued this week 63 purchase orders for $1.8 million. This is quite high, but they're always high at the beginning of the year because departments are putting out their blanket POs for the year. And that's the case here. 64% of this amount, or $1.1 million, is for the library. This is a blanket PO to purchase books, audiobooks, ebooks, and periodicals, as well as book and DVD leasing services, media services, and audiovisual materials. 17%, or $291,000, is for the fleet department to purchase new vehicles and upfit them for the sheriff's office. 13%, or $236,000, is for the conference center, which is primarily for concessions and food, as well as labor and linen service. As far as warrants, we issued 153 checks this week for $2.3 million. 46% of that amount, or $1.1 million, is health insurance for employees. 9%, or $214,000, is our monthly contribution to the Weber Human Services Organization. 7%, or $152,000, is the contribution to the Convention and Visitors Bureau. 6%, or $146,000, is for the jail to pay for medical services as well as food and some utilities. And then 5%, or $117,000, is for the health department, and that is exclusively distribution of federal grants regarding the HEPA filters that were going towards schools. So we were a pass-through entity on that. And that's
Thank
all.
you. Ricky, questions for Ricky on warrants or purchase orders? Commissioners? Any questions?
No questions. With that, go ahead.
So with that, let's go on to the rest of our consent items, which would be F4, request for approval of ACH payments to U.S. Bank in the amount of $167,915.36. 5, request for approval to cancel the February 14, 2023 regular commission meeting. 6, request for approval to sell surplus property, identified as parcel 09566 and 11. 7, request for approval of new beer license. 8, request for approval of new business licenses. And 9, request for approval of a 2023 contract renewals by and between Weber County and Select Health for the following Med Plan, Med HPA Plan, Value Traditional Plan, and Value HDHP Plan. That's our consent items. Commissioners, questions, comments? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Chair, motion to approve consent items F1 through and including 9 is presented.
Thank you. We have a motion.
Second?
And we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Consent items are approved as read. Let's go to action items. G1, request for approval of a resolution. That resolution would be 14-2023 of the Weber County the County Commissioners of Weber County appointing a member to the Weber County Recreation Arts Museum and Parks Committee. Ms. Shelley Hallisey.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for this opportunity. We found out last week after we had our kickoff meeting that we had a RAMP board member who needed to take a leave of absence due to health issues. So we began our scrambling. We had some applications on file for some people, so we sent out an email to commissioners saying, could we please get this done ASAP? Our board members are already out meeting with the project applicants, so we needed to get this done ASAP, and you came through with a name. So today we would like to ask for permission to appoint Sherry Bingham. I have spoken with Sherry. She was super excited, willing to get right in and get the job done. So that's why we're here today.
Thank you. Shelley, questions, commissioners?
None for me. You
Mr.
ready for a
Chair?
motion?
Yes. I'm ready for a motion.
Okay. I move that we approve Resolution 14-2023, appointing Sherry Bingham to the Weber County Recreation Arts, Museums, and Parks Committee.
Thank you.
Second?
And we have a second. This is a roll call vote.
Okay, roll call vote, Resolution 14-2023. Commissioner Bolos?
Aye.
Commissioner Harvey?
Aye.
Chair Floor?
Aye. Thank you very much. Thanks, Shelley. And again, appreciate all the work you do with that ramp. We know that's just kicking off, and boy, they do a great job for this county. Okay, let's now go to action item G2, request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and Wasatch Front Junior High School Rodeo Club to hold the Wasatch Front Junior High School Rodeo at the Golden Spike Event Center. Mr. Duncan Olson.
Good morning, Commissioners. So this contract is before you today because we're doing a little bit of a sponsor for these kids for the youth rodeo, but the big part of it was when we gave them our quote to host this regional rodeo, our stall number was cheaper. And so having offered up that contract beforehand, I wanted to honor it because, you know, we told them that that's what it would, but it falls outside of our fee ordinance now. But they're going to give us some recognition in sponsorship and stuff too. So,
Great. Thank you, Duncan. Commissioner Harvey, this is in your portfolio.
So just to be clear, our stall rate today is what, Duncan?
so without a stall manager, $15, but that doesn't come with shavings. That will be their number with shavings. That's what it was when we offered up the contract.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. How long is that for, that obligation at 15 with shavings?
Just for this one, yeah.
I'm good.
This is
No
one.
other questions?
No other questions? Commissioner Bowles, anything? Okay, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve contract that Duncan's presented with the Wasatch Front Junior High School Rodeo Association.
Thank you. We have a motion.
Second?
And a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Duncan. Let's go to agenda item G3, request for approval of contracts by and between Weber County and Stir and Dirt Racing for the following events to be held at the Golden Spike Event Center. 2023 May, Mania Demolition Derby, which would be May 20th, 2023, and the Halloween Havoc Demolition Derby, which would be October 7th, 2023. Duncan, you want to talk about those?
Yes, so we're excited about this. These are some of our best events of the year. They're sellouts. After the Halloween Havoc last year, it took about a month, and we started getting comments about people asking when did the tickets go back on sale. And so this is with Stir and Dirt Racing. In my opinion, they're probably the best demolition derby producer in the state and in the region. And so locking them into these contracts, we kind of build it out, and so that's why it's before you. It's not a, line item thing. We do more of a package deal for him. But it also locks him in to do the Fair Derby, which is also a huge success for us. So
Commissioner Harvey, also in your portfolio.
No, this is great. This is a big generator of revenue for us and it's a crowd favorite. So yeah, I've got no reservation. When you're ready for a motion,
I'm ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion. We approve both those derbies as presented, item 3 in our contract.
Thank you.
Second?
And we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Duncan.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, let's now go to agenda item G4, a request for approval of contract by and between Weber County and Leon Polson Construction Company, Inc. for the 7500 West Improvement Project. Mr. Ashley Tolman's with us. Thank you, Ashley.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioners. So before you is this contract for the 7500 West Improvement Project, where what we are working on is piping the ditch on the east side of the road to try and get water all the way out to Ogden Bay. It's kind of process, multiple phases, takes water from 12th Street and beyond, and they ran a bore under the railroad. And so we're just trying to continue progress to get the flow line to get the water out to Ogden Bay. And so this project's to install about 640 feet of 30-inch pipe. And it's a kind of a combination of efforts. Our roads department's helping bring in some fill that they've pulled out different places out of our Marriott pit, and then the contractor will install the pipe. And that's what we have before you today.
All right, questions, Commissioners?
None.
So, Ashley, I just have one. So when this was brought to us in work session, I suggested that maybe that engineering check with the state or other providers, since it's a lot of money from the state is going into water reclamation and making sure that water gets downstream to the Great Salt Lake. I actually talked to a couple of the senators down there. They suggested maybe NRCS. I don't know if you've had those conversations, but
I know Gary talked with Stephanie about funding, but
Okay.
I don't know if we got any
I would
leads.
just, yeah, I think if there's opportunities out there for us to partner with the state, NRCS, or some others, this is a logical use of state or federal money as we look to improve the water flow to Great Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Anyway, just,
That was a good tip, and we have other projects we'd like to.
yeah, and anything else
Look
we've
for
got coming
funding.
about, let's just take advantage of it if we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Commissioners, comments, questions? If not, I entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract by and between Weber County and Leon Paulson Construction Company for the 7500 West Improvement Project.
Thank you. We have a motion.
Second.
And a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you,
Yeah,
Ashley.
thank you,
Appreciate your hard work on that. Let's go to agenda item G5, request for approval of a revised first reading of the fee ordinance amendment relating to the Weber County Transfer Station and residential solid waste collection and disposal. Mr. Sean Wilkinson.
Thank you, Commissioners. As you'll remember, last week you had the first reading of this ordinance. However, since that time, we received the annual increase from Waste Management for the residential service they provide in Ogden Valley, and we wanted to include that in this ordinance. That's why we're back for the revised reading. Everything else remains the same. I do want to inform you that we met with the Solid Waste Utility Subcommittee last Tuesday, and they made a recommendation to WACOG, and then we met with WACOG last night. That recommendation is that instead of beginning this increase March 1st, that we would begin it on April 1st. So we would appreciate your consideration of that. Otherwise, everything else remains the same other than the adjustment up in the Ogden Valley. That adjustment follows the CPI index, which is about 4.5%. Plus, last year, Waste Management had, as others did, some exceptional costs with fuel and other types of costs that were rising. They had asked us for a large increase. We asked them to break that up over 2 years. So part of that increase happened in 2022, and then 3% will be added to the 4% CPI increase for a total of about 7.5% increase this year, which we agreed to last year, and it makes sense. I've run this by Scott Park. So that is the addition to this ordinance, and this is the first reading, and I'm happy to entertain any questions.
Thank you. Questions, commissioners?
No questions, but Sean, just thank you for including the solid waste subcommittee on this. I think their input's valuable, and it helped to get the support of WACOG, so that was important. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you. Let me bring up one other item. Commissioners, with this, we will not increase the county's administrative fee in the Ogden Valley. So that will stay at $2.61, and we want the residents to know that we're constantly looking at that, and we'll make adjustments as necessary.
Yeah, so the county doesn't benefit any addition
Correct.
because of this increase
That's right.
from the provider. Okay, thank you for that. Other questions?
No questions.
Commissioner Bolus, did you want to make a motion on that?
Sure. I make a motion that we approve a revised first reading of the fee ordinance amendments relating to Weber County Transfer Station and residential solid waste collection and disposal.
Thank you. Have a motion.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
So I'm assuming we'd come back to us the second and final reading next week, or I guess it wouldn't be next week.
On the
it'd be
21st.
The
Yep.
21st. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, let's go to public hearing. I would entertain a motion to adjourn our public meeting and reconvene as in a public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're now in a public hearing. First agenda item on public hearing would be to consider and take action on an ordinance and development agreement to rezone 5 acres of property from A2 to C3, property located at 1941 South, 5100 West, Ogden. The applicant is Mr. Randy Ropolato. That's ZMA 2021-07. Mr. Steve Burton.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I came down here a little early to make sure I could share my screen okay. Can you see that on
Hey,
your
we
screens?
see it. Great job.
Perfect. Okay. As you mentioned, this is a public hearing, and this specific request is an applicant-driven rezoning request to rezone 5 acres of property in western Weber from A2 to C3. Just to give you some context, I circled the area. You can see the parcel itself, the 5 acres. I just circled it to show you. You can see it's south of 12th Street and west of 4700 West. I just have a few slides. It should be about 5 minutes, and I'm happy to answer any questions as we review these slides. Just to show you what the existing zoning looks like in this area, we've got the 5 acres is zoned A2, and the proposed zoning on 5 acres is C3 on the right there. Usually with any rezone, one of the first questions that we as staff ask is how does this line up with the general plan? Now, fortunately, we just had a general plan adopted, so it's a fairly new document, and we're very familiar with it. In this location, you can kind of see this brownish gray area. That is about 20 acres surrounding this 5 acres, and it's shown as office tech or business tech on the general plan. The general plan says that uses in this area should be low intrusive on neighboring properties, primarily indoors, and have a well-designed site with good landscaping and architecture. If this property is rezoned, we've got mechanisms in our ordinances today for commercial projects like this that will make it a pretty good-looking site with decent architecture and good landscaping. As far as the uses go, not all of the uses in C3 fit business tech. They're not all low intrusive. And so what we did, we sat down with the applicant, we also sat down with you as a commission and went over some of those uses that we felt could qualify as business tech that would be low intrusive on the surrounding agricultural and residential projects. Those uses, I'm happy to go over them with you if you'd like. They're in the development agreement. One of them that the owner would like is a contractor shop. So as long as everything can be done indoors, a commercial contractor shop could be on the site. And we've written that list of uses into the development agreement so that the owner and any future owners can know these are the only allowed uses on the site. As far as existing conditions go, you can see there's really not a lot out there right now. Some remnants of some older buildings. There is an existing garage there to the north, and then the rest is pretty much just fencing. The development agreement that we prepared with the owner specifies a few things. One of them, as I just went over, it specifies the uses that are permitted there. It also specifies the owner's obligations. So, as you know, not every landowner is entitled to a rezone, but when they do apply, we should ask, how is it in the public benefit? So this rezone will require the owner to dedicate 80 feet of right-of-way to contribute to the construction of 5100 West, that street, that north-south street that'll go right through this property. It also, the development agreement also says that there will be a deferred improvement cost, that if and when the county decides to put in 5100 West and actually start installing, that owner will be responsible for a portion of those improvements at that time. The development agreement also gives the applicant 10 years to complete the project. As you're considering rezones, some of the things that you can consider are the compatibility of the proposed use with the existing surrounding uses. Is it compatible? Is it gonna be too intrusive on the other properties? You can also consider how and if the project meets the intent of the general plan and the vision of the community. You can also consider whether or not the timing's right. A rezone could be approved or denied based on the timing in the valley, or not in the valley, in this area. It just isn't right, or it is right. Some actions that you can take on a rezone. I'll just go over those with you real quick. You can approve the rezone if you feel that it meets the intent of the general plan. If you feel that there's a changing condition in the area that warrants a rezone. You can also deny a rezoning proposal based on things like if it doesn't comply with the general plan. You're also welcome to table it. You could table it and give us or the applicant some feedback on if you'd like it, more information or clarification. And then I'll just give you the Planning Commission recommendation real quick. On September 13th of last year, the Western Weber Planning Commission forwarded a unanimous positive recommendation to you about this proposal from A1 to C3 with the intent that there will be a development agreement that specifies uses that fit within the area. And we've done that. We've prepared it. I've got a development agreement for you if you choose to act on that today. I've also got an ordinance that would approve the rezone. Happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you. Questions for Mr. Burton, commissioners?
I have a couple.
Go ahead.
So, other than the development agreement, were there any other changes to this proposal between now and the time when the Planning Commission recommended approval?
Any changes to the proposal? No.
Okay. No. My other question is, you said that the development agreement said that a portion of road improvements would be funded by the developer. What does the portion mean? Is that defined?
So the county has a template for a development agreement, and for a deferral agreement, we call it. If the county is okay with the owner not building it right now and building it later, when the county comes in to ask for that to be built, the county is going to have to justify. They're going to have to say what is a proportionate cost. Typically, the county wouldn't put the whole cost of improvement onto one person, but the county would have to justify based on the existing use and its impact on the area. They'd have to make an argument that what the amount they're asking for is roughly proportionate and reasonably related to the project. The way the development agreement's written right now, it leaves that up to the county in the future to determine what that number is.
So it's not defined right now because we don't know the impacts and we don't know the, okay.
That's correct. We could define it now if you'd like, but.
No, I mean, I just wanted to understand why, but that makes sense, so thank you.
You bet.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So could part of the cost be put on the development that's currently underway on the east?
It couldn't be. I don't believe it could be. And the reason for that is because they recently just submitted a subdivision application and they changed the use of their property. And at subdivision applications, the time that we as a county have...
Clock starts.
That's right. Now with that other development, they did put in a significant amount of improvements, and we felt as we reviewed that subdivision when it came through that they were doing their proportionate share. And so we wouldn't expect the development to the east to pay anything into this future road.
Okay. Other questions?
Anything else? Anything else? So, you know, as I understand it, the development agreement now would include, as we've talked about this before, would include certain uses that would not be allowed in a C3 zone, but you've ratcheted that down because of the location and under the general plan, kind of structuring this toward business tech rather than a commercial development that would allow outside use, et cetera.
That's correct. We also took some of the uses that are in C3 and said that those aren't allowed
Right.
if we feel that they're not office tech.
Right. So I'm probably more comfortable with that. And then there was some discussion and make sure that we have the 80-foot road alignment in terms of future use, also part of that development agreement in terms of dedicating that road.
Yes, yep. We wrote that into the development agreement. I spoke with the owner about it, and he's comfortable with that. The reason for that 80 feet is because the general plan shows this as a 80-foot wide right-of-way. So
Exactly. Okay. So it follows a general plan, and he's agreed to that development agreement
yes,
in terms of the uses. Other comments, questions, commissioners? Thank you, Steve.
thanks.
Let's now move to the next agenda item on H3. This is a public hearing to consider consideration and action on a request for approval of amendment to the Western Weber County and Ogden Valley General Plan, file number GPA 2022-03. Mr. Bill Kobabe, thank you for being with us.
Good morning, Commissioners. It's good to be with you this morning. This is a request for amendment to the Western Weber and Ogden Valley General Plans. It's the same document. It will be added on to the end of both general plans. And this is in fulfillment of requirements of HB 462, which, as you know, was passed last year with the intent to address specific concerns related to moderate income housing in the state of Utah. Each community and county is, well, each required county and community, because it's not all of them, but most, will be required to adopt these general plans and submit reports to the state on our efforts to address moderate income housing concerns in the county. So that's where we're at. The Planning Commission's voted to forward a positive recommendation for this amendment. It addresses the concerns as outlined in HB 462 and state statute, and so we're at a place now where we're ready to get this adopted and sent back to the state.
Thank you. Does that conclude your presentation?
That's it.
Questions, commissioners? Any questions? So it appears that we're just following the directions under the HB 462 moderate income housing. Both planning commissions have read that and approved it. And I'm assuming that the amendments that we've put into action will be accepted by the state in terms of their acceptance of our moderate income housing plan.
Yes, sir. We've been in close communication with them about what their requirements for reporting will be, and this appears to meet their requirements.
Great. Good to hear. All right. Anything else?
No, sir.
Thank you for that presentation. Let's now go to public comments on either or both of those agenda items that we just discussed. Anybody in the audience like to come forward and talk about those? Now's the time. Krista, anyone online? No. Okay. Seeing no one rushing to the mic, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the public hearing and reconvene as a public meeting.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye. We're now in a public hearing, we're now in a public meeting, and we're here to take action on the agenda items we just discussed on the public hearing, which would be approval of an ordinance 2023-02 for development agreement to rezone 5 acres of property located, 5 acres of property from A2 to C3, property located at 1941 South, 5100 West, Ogden, which was an applicant under Randy Ropolato. So that's an action item under Resolution 2023, if we'd care to take it.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2023-02.
Thank you. We have a motion.
Second with a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Just to make sure, so on that, Mr. Burton, if you'd come to the mic. Just, so it'd be an 80-foot road width and then deferral agreement on costs associated with the construction of the road.
That's right.
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you.
And I believe we had a motion and a second on that. So roll call vote.
Okay, roll call vote for ordinance 2023-02. Commissioner Bolos.
Aye.
Commissioner Harvey.
Aye.
Chair Floor.
Aye. Thank you very much. Motion carries. Let's go now to agenda item 5 under H3, which is a request for approval of an amendment to the Western Weber and Ogden Valley General Plan, file number GPA 2022-03, which we just heard from Mr. Bill Kobe. Comments, questions, or actions, Commissioner?
Motion to approve the resolution 15-2023, which is the amendment to satisfy the state statute.
Thank you.
Second?
And a favor, roll call vote.
Okay, roll call vote for resolution 15-2023. Commissioner Bolos.
Aye.
Commissioner Harvey.
Aye.
Chair Floor.
Aye. Thank you. Resolution passes. Thank you very much. Let's now go to Commissioner comments. Commissioners, now's the time, opportunity you have.
I don't have anything to say.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Okay, that really surprises me a little bit, but I'm going to give you credit since you've been a little under the weather.
Yeah.
Commissioner Bolos, anything?
Yeah, the only comment I have, and I mentioned this last week when I was back in Washington DC, was the conference that I was attending, which was a prevention conference, and I just wanted to follow up and let you know that there was participation from the Weber Cone, the Roy Cone, and the Weber Cone.
Oh.
May have been Bonneville, I didn't see anyone there, and several people from Weber Human Services there, and getting a lot of great information on prevention in our community. So it was just a great conference and a great opportunity to sort of get to know each of them better and to understand their role in our community. And there are a lot of partners out there working for our community, specifically our children and students in drug prevention. So
That's
good
great.
things are happening.
Great.
We really appreciate you taking the time to be back in DC, especially since you have to be there in a few days. So you're going to get your good fill of Washington, DC. With that, I just want to make a mention for those that haven't. I talked about this at directors meeting this morning. If you haven't seen that, Weber County was the first and only county so far to instigate 911 live, which is a big deal. That gives the ability of a deputy public safety officer in their car to hear live what that call that's coming in through our 911 dispatch. It's very important, and I think they actually said this morning from the sheriff's office, they've actually had 2 saved because of that. It gives the opportunity for that deputy in the car, rather than just reading across the screen the comments that are coming in, he gets to hear that person live. And you know, when the people are in distress, and you can tell when maybe you have a critical need versus something that's not quite as important, gives them the opportunity as deputies to speed it up, make sure that they're there on a timely fashion. So I'm very proud of our IT department. 911 worked hand in glove with public safety. And again, we're the first and only in the state of Utah to have this available for our citizens. It's going to save lives, and I think that we can lead the way. I think you'll see hopefully see other counties, cities take this upon themselves. It's a good thing as we rely more upon public safety and 911 to get our message out. So I just wanted to make that comment, make it clear for those that haven't heard it. Commissioners, I'd entertain a final motion.
Move to adjourn?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you very much. Julie, Jackie, thanks again for being here.